Let's build and review this tiny police car from 1989. Hi, I'm Tim, and welcome back to Bricks. In this episode, we're going to look at this classic set. I recently picked up this tiny police car from Bricklink to go along with my police station, as it didn't have a car, and I figured every good police force needs a car. This is set number 6506, the Precinct Cruiser from Legoland Town. Has one minifigure and 32 pieces. Let's take a look at these pieces. Got some classic doors in there, frame. Here's a little instruction pamphlet. I can remember having this car or similar cars. They were really representative of the cars of this age from Lego. To where they had a chassis and then you'd build upon the chassis with these parts. It was a pretty standard method here, at least in my mind as a kid. Start out with the minifigure. It's got this classic, my hands are wet. Ooh, they're still wet. Pieces are still a little wet from washing them. But he has this classic print, sort of a fancier policeman. He looks like he's got a lapel and a dress shirt on with his badge and pocket. Classic head. And then his policeman cap. Set this guy over here. Sorry, no donuts for you today, sir. I had to make that joke. So the set is probably a pretty simple build. You see, you just take the chassis, start putting the pieces on. Again, I love the classic instructions where you are just looking at them and seeing and deducing which pieces are next instead of step by step. It's a little more fun, a little more free play in my mind. This nice little car chassis, 4 wide and 7 long. Great little piece to make little cars from this era. Put on these old 4 wide fenders. Simple, very simple. And then one of my favorite pieces, the classic door or car door, still used on certain sets today. Just can't go wrong. It adds such a great play value to have these little doors that open up and swing. You pose the minifigure in there. You can't really get the minifigure in and out, but they just add so much play value to it. Front piece. Very common, even in today's vehicles, you'll find a similar piece that's too tall, or 2 sets tall rather. It's not too tall. Classic glass piece. Using this as a roll cage, also used in many different ways in different sets, but sort of in my mind, the roll bar at the back. I mean, it is a convertible. I don't know how realistic a police convertible is, but it's a nice little set. A little cheap set for back in the day, something you might pick up on a whim. Good little entry level set. I think for all ages. We have the square translucent yellow bricks here. I just had to buy some more of these as I bought a set on Bricklink and they told me the last second they didn't have those pieces, so thankfully I was able to source them from somewhere else, not too bad. Okay. And then the round 1x1 tiles or plates, I don't know what you would call them. Little police lights up here. Some of the Lego sets were red and blue with the lights, and some were all blue. I used to mix and match, but I think the blue with the light makes a good police look here. And then there's this nice printed tile. It says police. Interesting that they just stick it on the hood. I mean, that works. It's effective. And last but not least, the classic wheel, sort of 4-spoke wheel with the big knobby tire. I mean, it looks knobby by today's tire standards, but this was perfectly acceptable in its day. I think it still is. Very tiny little form factor car. I don't know where he's going to put a prisoner. Doesn't come with a walkie-talkie or anything. I think that would have been a great add to the set. I think perhaps that's maybe the only thing missing would be giving this guy a walkie-talkie. Let's get him in here. And there we go. They show on the back of the instructions an alternate build. It looks kind of almost like a race car or go-kart or something. I don't know that that's very realistic. But it's nice that they encourage you, even in the OEM print, to take it apart and build it. You know, it's really the heart and spirit of Lego is to build and rebuild. I think overall it's a solid little set, a nice little addition. By itself, it doesn't have a whole lot of play value. I mean, obviously it's a little car, and what little kid doesn't like driving a car around, pushing it back and forth. It's nice, classic 80s style Lego with the build techniques and the presentation. The scale is a little funny with just how small the car is and how big the glass is, but this is, I think, what they had in the day, and it works. I think when set with some other sets, it really rounds out. When placed in a lineup with the police vehicles from a few years earlier, at least from one of the sets, I think it really rounds it out nice and well. You got the helicopter, the truck, the motorcycles, and then this size sort of fits in between the motorcycle and the truck. I think that was pretty wise on Lego's part for putting these two as far as scale together. Here we see the Precinct Cruiser next to a modern Speed Champions Porsche, and then a fairly recent ATV. ATV is pretty good proportion. I'd say it's a little big if you're to compare it to real life, although there are some big ATVs out there. The Porsche is pretty good, although obviously it only fits one guy in there. It would normally be two, and it's a little bit longer. But if you compare them, you can see a real big scale difference between different lines and different eras. The Precinct Cruiser is even small for its day, even next to a car from the similar era with the same chassis piece. You can see that the police car just feels extra tiny. And hey, it could be a tiny city car, like parking enforcement, or what you might find in probably a European city, given that these are Lego. Uh-oh, buddy, I think you're getting a ticket. So for a budget little set, I think it's a solid piece. Again, I just wish it came with a walkie-talkie. I think that would really round out the set. I've got some other 80s Lego police sets coming, and eventually we'll take a look at them all together. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please give it a like. If you want to see some more, please consider subscribing. Also, check us out on Instagram. But until next time, let's get back to bricks. Get some B-roll here.